What if I told you there's a place in America where it rains fish, that lightning strikes one spot 28 times per minute, and that an entire town's weather forecast is made by a groundhog? The United States gets stereotyped as having normal, predictable weather patterns. But this massive country hides meteorological phenomena so bizarre, so absolutely mind-bending that you'll question everything you thought you knew about American weather. I'm about to take you through 50 strange weather facts across the United States that sound completely fake, but are 100% real. From backwards tornadoes to impossible snow, from boiling rivers to frozen waterfalls, this is the American weather nobody talks about. Let's dive in. Fact 50, the fish rain mystery. Honduras isn't in the US, but Texarkana, Texas experienced a genuine fish rain in 1947. Hundreds of fish fell from the sky during a thunderstorm. The phenomenon happens when waterspouts or tornadoes suck fish from bodies of water and carry them miles before dropping them. It's rare but documented. In 2010, La Jamanu, Australia had fish rain. In 2021, Texarkana saw it again. The US has documented dozens of cases of fish, frogs, and even jellyfish falling from the sky. Texas seems particularly prone to aquatic precipitation. American weather occasionally violates the basic rule that fish belong in water, not clouds. Fact 49. The backwards tornado. Most tornadoes in the northern hemisphere rotate counterclockwise, but anticyclonic tornadoes spin clockwise, defying normal physics. These backwards tornadoes are rare, representing less than 2% of all tornadoes. But they happen, particularly in the Great Plains. In 1998, a rare anticyclonic tornado struck near Grand Island, Nebraska. Why do they spin backwards? Complex wind shear patterns can create rotation in the opposite direction. The atmosphere occasionally forgets its own rules. American tornadoes don't always follow the script. Fact 48, the lightning capital. Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela holds the world record, but in America, Florida is the undisputed lightning capital. Central Florida experiences more lightning strikes than anywhere else in the country. The area between Tampa and Orlando sees an average of 50 lightning strikes per square mile annually. That's roughly one strike every 7 square meters every year. Florida's unique geography creates perfect lightning conditions. Sea breezes from the Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico collide over the peninsula, forcing air upward. This creates massive thunderstorms nearly every summer afternoon. Florida's weather is electrically charged by design. Fact 47. The snow in Hawaii. Hawaii gets snow regularly. Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa, both over 13,000 feet elevation, receive snow every winter. The summits can accumulate several feet of snow. Ski resorts don't exist, but people have skied there. You can literally surf and snowboard on the same Hawaiian island in the same day. Hawaii's tropical reputation ignores the fact that elevation creates winter conditions at high altitude. The state experiences every climate zone from tropical beaches to alpine tundra. Hawaiian snow is real, just unexpected. Fact 46. The permanent storm. Catatumbo. Lightning in Venezuela produces lightning 260 nights per year. America doesn't have that. But the Great Basin experiences near-constant summer thunderstorms. Nevada, Utah, and Arizona see daily monsoon thunderstorms from July through September. The pattern is so consistent you can set your watch by it. Every afternoon at 2 p.m., storms form over mountains and drift across valleys. The monsoon isn't rain, it's a wind pattern shift that brings moisture from the Gulf of California. The result is months of predictable daily thunderstorms. The American Southwest has a scheduled lightning season. Fact 45. The Tornado Alley myth. Everyone knows Tornado Alley runs through Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska, except that's not entirely accurate. Dixie Alley, covering Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Arkansas, has more violent tornadoes and more tornado deaths. The tornadoes happen at night, move faster, and strike areas with dense tree cover that hides them. Tornado Alley gets the publicity. Dixie Alley gets the deadliest storms. American tornado geography is more complex than popular understanding suggests. Fact 44. The heat island effect. Phoenix is 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than surrounding desert because of the urban heat island effect. Concrete and asphalt absorb heat all day and radiate it at night. Air conditioning exhaust adds more heat. Cars generate heat. The city creates its own microclimate significantly hotter than natural desert. Phoenix's summer nights rarely drop below 90 degrees Fahrenheit because the city itself generates heat. Las Vegas experiences the same phenomenon. American desert cities are hotter than the deserts they're built in. Fact 43. The Groundhog Forecaster. Punxsutawney Phil, a groundhog in Pennsylvania, predicts spring's arrival every February 2nd. If he sees his shadow, 6 more weeks of winter. If not, early spring. This tradition dates to 1887. Phil has made predictions for over 135 years. His accuracy rate? Approximately 39%. He's wrong more often than he's right. But 40,000 people gather in Punxsutawney every year for the forecast. Pennsylvania turned a rodent into a meteorologist. American weather prediction sometimes involves consulting animals. Fact 42. The Lake Effect Snow Machine. The Great Lakes create lake effect snow that dumps over 200 inches annually on cities like Buffalo and Syracuse. Cold Arctic air crosses the relatively warm Great Lakes, picks up moisture, and unleashes it as snow when it hits land. The effect is so powerful that snowfall totals can vary by feet within miles. Buffalo can receive 6 feet of snow in 24 hours. The city has been buried so deeply that the National Guard deployed snowplows. Lake effect snow is a meteorological weapon that targets upstate New York and Michigan every winter. Fact 41. The Dust Bowl Redux. The Dust Bowl of the 1930s created dust storms so massive they turned day into night and buried entire towns. Black Sunday, April 14th, 1935, saw a dust storm 1,000 miles wide and thousands of feet high roll across the Great Plains. The sky turned black at noon. People suffocated. Livestock died. Soil from Oklahoma landed in New York. Modern farming practices prevent Dust Bowl conditions, but massive dust storms still occur. In 2011, a haboob in Phoenix created a dust wall over 5,000 feet tall. The Dust Bowl era ended, but the weather conditions that caused it still exist. Fact 40. The Frozen Niagara. Niagara Falls partially freezes during extreme cold. The falls never stop flowing, but ice forms around the edges, creating a frozen wonderland. In 1848, an ice jam upstream stopped the falls completely for 40 hours. People walked across the riverbed collecting artifacts. It was the only time in recorded history the falls went silent. In 2014 and 2015, polar vortex cold froze Niagara into a spectacular ice sculpture. The falls kept flowing behind the ice curtain. American waterfalls can freeze without stopping. Fact 39. The Rain Shadow Desert. Washington's Olympic Peninsula receives over 140 inches of rain annually on its western slopes. Drive 30 miles east and you're in Sequim, which gets only 16 inches. The Olympic Mountains create such an extreme rain shadow that rainfall varies by over 100 inches within 50 miles. One side is temperate rainforest, the other is near desert. This is America's most dramatic rain shadow. Cross one mountain range and the climate completely transforms. Washington contains both extremes simultaneously. Fact 38. The tornado that went uphill. Tornadoes supposedly avoid mountains. They're wrong. Tornadoes have climbed mountains, crossed mountain ranges, and defied terrain that should stop them. In 1987, a tornado climbed the Teton Range in Wyoming, reaching elevations over 10,000 feet. In 2008, a tornado crossed the Continental Divide in Colorado. Tornadoes that shouldn't exist in mountains keep forming anyway. Mountain tornadoes are rare but documented. American weather ignores geographical limitations we think exist. Fact 37. The haboob phenomenon. Phoenix experiences haboobs, massive dust storms that create walls of dust thousands of feet high. These storms, common in the Sahara Desert, started appearing regularly in Arizona around 2011. Climate change and drought increased their frequency. Now, Phoenix sees multiple haboobs each summer. The dust wall approaches like a tsunami, turning day into darkness in seconds. Visibility drops to zero. Driving becomes impossible. Breathing becomes difficult. Arizona imported Saharan weather patterns. Fact 36. The snow in the desert. It snows in the Mojave Desert. Not often, but it happens. Las Vegas has recorded measurable snowfall multiple times. In 2008, Las Vegas got 3.6 inches of snow, the most since 1979. The strip covered in white looked surreal. Desert plants don't handle snow well, neither do desert drivers. Snow in deserts seems impossible, but elevation and rare Arctic air masses make it real. The American desert occasionally cosplays as winter. Fact 35. The derecho destroyer. A derecho is a widespread windstorm associated with thunderstorms. Winds exceed 100 miles per hour across hundreds of miles. The June 2012 derecho traveled from Indiana to the Atlantic Ocean, covering 700 miles in 12 hours. It left 4 million people without power. Trees snapped like toothpicks. Buildings collapsed. Derechos are rare but devastating. They're essentially land hurricanes without the rotation. The Midwest experiences these wind apocalypses every few years. Fact 34. The midnight sun. Barrow, Alaska, now called Utqiagvik, experiences 24-hour daylight from May to July. The sun doesn't set for 82 consecutive days. The opposite happens in winter. From November to January, the sun doesn't rise for 65 days. Continuous darkness for over 2 months. Alaska's extreme latitude creates weather conditions where normal day-night cycles don't exist. Residents experience months of perpetual day, followed by months of perpetual night. American weather includes seasons of permanent sunlight and permanent darkness. Fact 33. The fire tornado. Wildfires can create fire tornadoes, vortexes of flame that spin like tornadoes. These aren't metaphors. They're actual rotating columns of fire. The 2018 Carr fire in California produced a fire tornado with winds exceeding 143 miles per hour. It was classified as an EF3 tornado made entirely of fire. The vortex was over 1,000 feet wide and threw burning debris miles away. Fire tornadoes are hell made real. American wildfires occasionally generate weather phenomena that shouldn't exist. Fact 32. The thundersnow phenomenon. Thundersnow is exactly what it sounds like. Thunderstorms that produce snow instead of rain. It's rare because the atmospheric conditions required are very specific. Cold air needs to rise rapidly through warm air, creating the instability for lightning, while temperatures stay below freezing. Chicago, Boston, and New York experience thunders now occasionally during intense winter storms. Lightning illuminates falling snow. Thunder rumbles through blizzards. It's one of nature's strangest combinations. Fact 31. The coldest place. Prospect Creek, Alaska recorded minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit on January 23, 1971. That's the coldest temperature ever recorded in the United States. At minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit, exposed skin freezes in minutes. Breathing hurts. Metal becomes brittle. Machinery fails. The cold is a physical force. Alaska contains America's temperature extremes. The state experiences both permanent daylight and cold that can kill in minutes. Alaskan weather operates on a scale that defies normal human experience. Fact 30. The hottest place. Death Valley, California, recorded 134 degrees Fahrenheit on July 10, 1913. That's the highest reliably recorded temperature on Earth. At 134 degrees Fahrenheit, you can fry eggs on rocks. Car tires melt. Heat stroke happens in minutes. The air feels like an oven. Death Valley's geography creates a natural furnace. The valley sits 282 feet below sea level, trapped between mountain ranges. Air sinks, compresses, and heats. The result is hell with a visitor center. Fact 29. The wettest place. Mount Waialeal in Hawaii receives approximately 460 inches of rain annually. That's over 38 feet of rain every year. The mountain's peak is one of the wettest spots on Earth. It rains over 350 days per year. The summit is almost permanently shrouded in clouds. Hawaii's geography forces Pacific moisture upward where it condenses into near-constant rain. American weather includes places where rain is the default condition. Fact 28. The driest place. Death Valley again. The valley receives an average of only 2.36 inches of rain annually. Some areas of Death Valley have gone years without measurable precipitation. The same place that's the hottest is also among the driest. Death Valley earned its name through multiple meteorological extremes. California contains both America's wettest and driest locations. The state's geography creates weather diversity unmatched anywhere else. Fact 27. The hail damage capital. Cheyenne. Wyoming experiences more hailstorms than almost anywhere else in America. The city averages 9 hail days per year. But Colorado is the true hail capital. The state experiences over $1 billion in hail damage annually. Golf ball-sized hail is common. Baseball-sized hail destroys cars and roofs. The Front Range of the Rockies creates perfect hail conditions. Updrafts carry water droplets high enough to freeze. then drop them as ice. Colorado's weather regularly pelts the state with ice cannonballs. Fact 26. The wind tunnel state. Wyoming's wind is legendary. The state experiences sustained winds over 30 miles per hour regularly. Interstate 80 closes multiple times per year because wind blows trucks off the highway. Rawlins, Wyoming has average annual wind speeds over 12 miles per hour. That doesn't sound impressive until you realize it never stops. Constant 12 miles per hour wind, 24/7, 365 days a year. Wyoming's wind is so reliable, the state generates massive amounts of wind power. The same wind that makes driving dangerous powers thousands of homes. Wyoming turned meteorological misery into electricity. Fact 25. The bomb cyclone. A bomb cyclone is a storm that intensifies rapidly, dropping pressure by at least 24 millibars in 24 hours. The term sounds made up. It's not. The January 2018 bomb cyclone brought hurricane-force winds and blizzard conditions to the East Coast. The storm strengthened so rapidly it created explosive cyclogenesis, hence bomb. These storms happen when cold Arctic air meets warm ocean water. The temperature contrast creates atmospheric instability that generates storms of incredible intensity. Bomb cyclones are winter hurricanes. Fact 24. The Pineapple Express. The Pineapple Express is an atmospheric river that carries moisture from Hawaii to the West Coast. When it hits California, Oregon, and Washington, the Pineapple Express dumps feet of rain in days. The storm is essentially a fire hose of tropical moisture pointed at the Pacific Northwest. These storms cause massive flooding. California's wettest periods almost always involve a Pineapple Express. The West Coast's water supply depends on tropical storms traveling thousands of miles from Hawaii. Fact 23. The Polar Vortex Collapse. The polar vortex is a band of winds circling the Arctic. When it weakens, Arctic air spills south into the United States. The January 2019 polar vortex brought minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit wind chills to the Midwest. Chicago was colder than Antarctica. Schools closed. Mail delivery stopped. The cold killed 21 people. Polar vortex collapses are becoming more common. Climate change weakens the jet stream, allowing Arctic air to penetrate farther south. America's worst cold snaps come from Arctic weather systems breaking free. Fact 22. The supercell thunderstorm. Supercell thunderstorms are rotating thunderstorms that can last for hours and spawn multiple tornadoes. These storms are weather's most powerful form. A single supercell can produce baseball-sized hail, 70 miles per hour straight-line winds, flash flooding, and multiple tornadoes simultaneously. The Great Plains see supercells regularly during spring and summer. Storm chasers travel thousands of miles to witness them. Supercells are America's contribution to extreme weather, the most powerful storms that don't qualify as hurricanes. Fact 21. The June snow. It can snow in June in the United States. The Rocky Mountains regularly see June snowfall above 10,000 feet elevation. In 1816, the year without a summer, snow fell in New England in June, July, and August. Crops failed. The year is remembered as 1800 and froze to death. Modern June snow is rare at lower elevations but still happens. Colorado ski resorts occasionally operate into July. American summer includes snow in multiple states. Fact 20. The microburst danger. Microbursts are columns of sinking air that hit the ground and spread outward at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour. They're invisible until they hit. Airplanes have crashed because microbursts pushed them into the ground. Trees snap. Buildings collapse. The damage looks like a tornado, but it's straight-line wind. Phoenix experiences microbursts regularly during monsoon season. The dry air evaporates rain before it reaches the ground, but the cooling air still plummets and creates destructive winds. Arizona has invisible wind bombs. Fact 19. The steam devil. Steam devils form when cold air moves over warm water, creating swirling columns of steam that look like tornadoes. The Great Lakes produce steam devils during autumn when cold air first crosses warm lake water. The vortexes can reach hundreds of feet tall, spinning columns of fog rising from the surface. They're harmless but dramatic. Steam devils are America's ghost tornadoes, meteorological illusions that vanish when air temperatures stabilize. Fact 18. The atmospheric river. Atmospheric rivers are narrow corridors of concentrated moisture in the atmosphere. They're rivers in the sky, literally. These phenomena can carry more water than the Amazon River. When they make landfall, they dump incredible rainfall totals. California's biggest floods almost always involve atmospheric rivers. The Pineapple Express is one type of atmospheric river. Others originate from different tropical regions. The western United States depends on these sky rivers for water supply. Fact 17. The fog capital. Point Reyes, California is one of the foggiest places in America. The area experiences fog over 200 days per year. The fog forms when warm Pacific air crosses the cold California current offshore. The moisture condenses into thick fog that can persist for days. San Francisco's famous fog comes from the same phenomenon. The city's summer is defined by cold fog rolling through the Golden Gate. California's coast has a fog season that lasts half the year. Fact 16. The red sprite lightning. Red sprites are massive electrical discharges that occur above thunderstorms, reaching 50 miles into the upper atmosphere. They're red or orange, last milliseconds, and look like enormous jellyfish in the sky. Scientists didn't believe they existed until pilots started photographing them. Red sprites require powerful thunderstorms below them. The Great Plains produce conditions for sprites regularly. American thunderstorms generate lightning that reaches into space. Fact 15. The snownado. Snownados are snow-based tornadoes, vortexes of snow instead of rain. They're rare but documented. These form during intense lake-effect snow when atmospheric conditions create rotation. The vortex lifts snow into a spinning column. Michigan and New York have recorded snownados during extreme winter storms. They're weaker than regular tornadoes but still impressive. American winter weather occasionally creates rotating snow. Fact 14. The inversion trap. Temperature inversions trap cold air in valleys beneath warm air, creating pollution and fog that can last for weeks. Salt Lake City experiences severe inversions every winter. The city sits in a bowl surrounded by mountains. Cold air sinks, warm air caps it, and pollution has nowhere to go. During inversions, Salt Lake's air quality becomes worse than Beijing. The mountains that make the city beautiful also trap it under a dome of smog. Utah's weather creates its own air quality disasters. Fact 13. The ice storm catastrophe. The 1998 ice storm in the Northeast dropped up to 4 inches of ice, coating everything in a frozen shell. Trees collapsed under the weight. Power lines snapped. 4 million people lost electricity. Some areas went weeks without power in January. Ice storms are rare but catastrophic. The weight of ice transforms trees into brittle glass that shatters. The 1998 storm caused $5 billion in damage. Frozen rain creates more destruction than snow. Fact 12. The dust devil dance. Dust devils form on hot days when ground heat creates rotating columns of air that pick up dust and debris. They're mini tornadoes without the thunderstorm. Arizona and Nevada see hundreds during summer. They can reach 100 feet tall and last several minutes. Dust devils are mostly harmless but spectacular. They're daily reminders that the desert atmosphere is unstable and chaotic. The Southwest's hot ground creates spontaneous spinning wind. Fact 11. The hurricane that went inland. Hurricanes weaken rapidly over land, but Hurricane Camille in 1969 maintained intensity far inland, causing catastrophic flooding in Virginia, over 400 miles from the coast. The storm dumped 27 inches of rain in 8 hours on the Blue Ridge Mountains. Flash floods killed 153 people. Entire communities washed away. Camille proved hurricanes don't always follow rules. Storm remnants can reorganize inland and create disasters far from the coast. American hurricanes threaten states that don't border oceans. Fact 10. The ball lightning mystery. Ball lightning is a rare phenomenon where spherical glowing objects float through the air during thunderstorms. Scientists debate whether it's real. Thousands of reports exist, but ball lightning is almost never photographed. It appears during thunderstorms, floats horizontally, and vanishes without explanation. Reports come from across the United States. Some witnesses describe it passing through walls. Others report it exploding. Ball lightning remains one of meteorology's unexplained mysteries. Fact 9. The waterfall that flows upward. During extreme winds, waterfalls can flow upward. Yosemite Falls has been photographed with water flowing up instead of down when wind gusts exceed 60 miles per hour. The wind is strong enough to overcome gravity and push water back up the cliff. The phenomenon lasts only during the strongest gusts, but it's documented. California's wind occasionally breaks one of nature's most basic rules. Water flows down unless American wind decides otherwise. Fact 8. The frozen waves. Lake Michigan produces frozen wave formations when waves crash and instantly freeze in sub-zero temperatures. The ice accumulates in layers, creating sculptures that look like frozen tsunami. The formations can reach 20 feet tall. Chicago's lakeshore becomes an ice sculpture garden every extreme cold snap. The frozen waves are temporary art created by Great Lakes weather. Fact 7. The virga phenomenon. Virga is rain that evaporates before reaching the ground. You can see rain falling from clouds that never hits Earth. The desert Southwest sees virga regularly. Dry air evaporates rain during its fall. Curtains of rain hang from clouds, disappearing mid-air. It looks like glitching reality. Rain exists and doesn't exist simultaneously. Arizona's atmosphere is so dry, it erases precipitation before arrival. Fact 6. The St. Elmo's Fire. St. Elmo's Fire is a weather phenomenon where electrical charges create glowing plasma around pointed objects during thunderstorms. Ship masts, airplane wings, and church steeples glow with bluish light. It's harmless but eerie. Ancient sailors thought it was supernatural. Modern pilots still report St. Elmo's Fire. The phenomenon requires specific atmospheric electrical conditions. American thunderstorms still generate medieval-looking electrical displays. Fact 5. The blood rain. Red rain, also called blood rain, occurs when rain mixes with dust or particles, turning it red or orange. The 1999 Sydney dust storm turned rain red across Australia. Similar events happen in the United States when Saharan dust crosses the Atlantic. Texas and Florida occasionally experience red rain when Saharan dust reaches North America. The rain looks apocalyptic, but it's just dirt. American weather sometimes includes African soil. Fact 4. The earthquake weather myth. Earthquake weather supposedly feels hot, still, and oppressive before earthquakes. It's completely false. Earthquakes happen in all weather conditions. No correlation exists between weather and seismic activity. But the myth persists because humans desperately want to predict earthquakes. California residents still describe earthquake weather before big quakes. The mind creates patterns where none exist. American weather folklore includes meteorological superstitions. Fact 3. The double rainbow. Double rainbows occur when sunlight reflects twice inside water droplets, creating a secondary rainbow with reversed colors. The phenomenon is common but always spectacular. What makes it strange is the dark band between the two rainbows called Alexander's band. This dark region exists because light reflects differently at specific angles. The sky is literally darker between rainbows. American weather creates optical geometry in water droplets. Fact 2. The moonbow. Moonbows are rainbows created by moonlight instead of sunlight. They're incredibly rare and appear almost colorless because human eyes can't perceive color well in low light. Cumberland Falls in Kentucky is one of the few places in the Western Hemisphere where moonbows occur regularly. The combination of waterfall mist and bright full moons creates the phenomenon. Moonbows prove rainbows don't require sun. American weather includes nighttime versions of daytime phenomena. Fact 1. The snow-eater wind. Chinook winds in the Rockies can raise temperatures by 40 degrees Fahrenheit in hours, melting feet of snow in a single day. These warm, dry winds descend the eastern slopes of the Rockies. They're called snow-eaters because they can eliminate entire snowpacks overnight. In 1972, Loma, Montana experienced a 103 degrees Fahrenheit temperature change in 24 hours because of Chinook winds. From minus 54 degrees Fahrenheit to 49 degrees Fahrenheit in one day. American weather includes wind that can erase winter in hours. From fish falling from the sky and backwards tornadoes to frozen waves and rivers of moisture in the atmosphere, American weather is far stranger and more extreme than anyone imagines. Which fact absolutely blew your mind? Was it the fish rain, the fire tornadoes, or maybe that Hawaii gets snow? Drop a comment below. If you loved discovering America's strangest weather, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. The weather's secrets run deeper than you ever imagined, and we're just getting started.